Hello and welcome once again to our final session of Composition 2. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Fowler, and today we're going to review some key aspects of the class, and I'm going to offer a few final thoughts about writing and the nature of composition. I'm going to quickly pause for a moment. I'm going to admit a couple of students here, so bear with me as we begin this process. All right. I see a couple of you have joined in here. Fantastic. I'm going to quickly mute the video, but you should still hear the sound of my voice as we transition over to a screen share of our PowerPoints as per usual. So I'm going to stop my video and then screen share this latest PowerPoint. Okay. So for today, again, it's our final session. So I'll have, as per usual, a brief preview and review, and then we'll move right into my final thoughts so that you can use the majority of today's class time to spend toward the completion of the argumentative essay. In terms of that preview point, the argumentative essay, once again, is due by 11:59 p.m. on this Friday, which would be December 4th. Okay. Let's move ahead. Today, I just want to take a minute to reflect on the nature of what we've been trying to do throughout the semester. I know there are some of you, perhaps even several of you at this point, who have extant papers that you're really focused on and that you'd like to use the time, and you'd like to use this time to complete that project. But I've tried to be somewhat responsible or respectful of your time. So today, just some final thoughts, and we're going to begin with the basics. Remember that for this final, or I keep saying final, but for the last official paper or essay for this semester, you're going to write an argumentative essay. Broadly, with regard to the argumentative essay, you will demonstrate your ability to develop a thesis and present that thesis with persuasive claims and support. In terms of the special or specific details, remember that this should chime in at about 1,250 words, or roughly 4.5 pages. In order to help you present those persuasive claims and develop effective support, I've suggested that you use 4 documented sources that you would present in a works cited page for MLA or a references page in APA. Next week, we won't have a formal meeting time, but we've discussed earlier in this week the final exam, or what will take the place of a final exam. By this time next week, you will have had time to read the results and my feedback from your argumentative essay. That should set you up for a choice of 2 potential essays to revise as your second official revision of the semester. That would mean either the argument paper that you're going to turn in by Friday or the persuasive essay that you turned in around Halloween. You're going to then look at that essay, read my commentary, and based on that feedback, you're going to edit for grammar, style, and formatting concerns. Revision number 2 will be due then on or before midnight on December 11th. Now, in terms of peer review, I did suggest that if students would like a peer review, of their argumentative essay or their persuasive essay, that they could reach out to me and I would assign them a peer review partner. I think that peer review is fine and it has its place. We certainly engaged in some peer review in the earlier portion of this semester, but not everybody really needs peer review or values it as much as I do as an instructor. And it's relatively late in the semester. So some people may feel it's a necessary step, whereas other people might feel that it's just one additional task on their plate in an already busy week that they really don't need to attend to. So if you are interested in a peer revision, let me know so that I can facilitate that next week vis-a-vis Desire to Learn. Okay. Remember, this is my last sort of notification. This week, my virtual hours are fairly standard, except for today. And as I note here, today, I'm not available right after class. I have a meeting that I have to attend, a virtual Zoom meeting that will take a little bit of time after class ends today. So I will be available again starting around 2 o'clock. I know it says 2:30 here, but I think it's more apropos to say 2 o'clock. But I've also extended my hours of availability to 5:30 just to sort of attempt to make up for that discrepancy. But starting tomorrow and for the rest of the week, my virtual office hours are the same as they've always been, which is 9:30 in the morning till about 4:30 in the evening. Of course, if there are emergencies, you can contact me beyond those hours. Last bit of information today, and then I'll pause for questions. Final grades for this semester are due at 6 p.m. on Saturday, December 12th. So all of your instructors, in theory, should be working on completing your final grades. That's why I used the italics in the next bit. Grades should be posted and visible by December 14th, which is the next Monday, if not sooner. They may be available much quicker. Some instructors have everything wrapped up. And again, there's a degree of flux there because some people might turn their essays in earlier. Some people might need the entire time to complete an essay or project. And so the grades consequently would necessitate someone like Mr. Fowler to use the entire time of grading. So I wanted to make sure that I covered those aspects before we got into the rest of today's lecture. So I'm going to pause, like I said, for just a moment and then ask for questions. Remember that you can use the hand raising emoji or emoticon on your list of options. But if you have questions or concerns, go ahead and use those emojis to raise questions, and then I'll try my best to answer them.
I think someone's cat. Is that what that
Yes, that's
was? Sorry.
sorry. She just loves to barge in. Anywho, no real questions other than thank you for the sources. I could really look over them. Just try to continue my essay.
Fantastic. I hope they work out. All right. It doesn't seem like there are a whole lot of questions right now, but if you do have a question while I'm going on during the presentation, you can use the chat function to send me a written message, and I'll be happy to respond to that when I'm finished. Okay. Okay, let's discuss my final thoughts here. I just want to emphasize that while it's easy to see a disconnect between writing courses and the experience of writing at a collegiate level with what you're eventually going to do in real life or what your career goals or aims might be, I do suggest that writing plays a larger role today in the workplace than a lot of people give it credit for. As I say here, writing really is a skill that you take with you and that you continue to use actively throughout your life. In fact, you may find yourself writing more for a career or for a position that you're hired into than you would over the course of a standard semester. It's just that the writing doesn't come in bursts that are as long as these writing assignments, but cumulatively, you may find yourself writing much more over the course of a year than you would, or even the course of 6 months than you would in a 4-month semester. Ironically, strong writing should appear seamless. So a lot of times, especially in the workplace, if you're doing a good job of writing well and writing clearly, you might not get too much feedback from your fellow employees or perhaps from even your supervisor. But beware, because writing that isn't strong will really show up and really draw attention to you when you are in a workplace environment, right? You're almost immediately recognized as someone who's a struggling writer, and you will get feedback from supervisors and from other employees in that regard. I find it kind of interesting how two-sided that coin tends to be. And I have this little cartoon over here on the left of Calvin and Hobbes, and where Calvin he's struggling. He wants to put his best foot forward, but he just doesn't manage to do so. And as he says here, I used to hate writing assignments, but now I enjoy them. And this surprises his fictional friend, Hobbes the Tiger, and he continues by saying that I realized that the purpose of writing is to inflate weak ideas, obscure poor reasoning, and inhibit clarity. Probably the opposite of all those things is the purpose of writing, right? But he continues on. With a little practice, writing can be intimidating and an impenetrable fog. Would you like to see my book report? And Hobbes reads the title, The Dynamics of Interbeing and Monological Imperatives in Dick and Jane, a study in psychic transrelational gender modes. And Calvin, of course, says, Academia, here I come. The joke, of course, is that, yeah, this is the opposite.
Your mic is cutting in and out.
It should be clear. It should enhance clarity. It should, oh, there you go. So I'll try it again. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Essentially, the main point I want to stress is that, as Calvin says here, oftentimes writing should seek to clarify things, shore up good ideas, and clarify one's meaning. So why should you continue to strive to improve your writing? Well, one of the reasons, and I think the most fundamental, is that it's often a required skill. Effective writing skills help you convey your message accurately and allow you to get to the desired results that you're yearning for. And even if there is no reason for you to write regularly in the workplace, don't underestimate the importance of writing effectively, because writing can offer you credibility. There are a certain set of soft skills that are valued for so many positions today, and writing skills are among the best of these. You can gain professional credibility more easily if you can improve your already good writing skills. Writing is also an imperative for professional development. Effective communication is one of the most important and sought after skills in the modern workplace. Good writing helps you gain experience and exposure in your organization. And lastly, leadership. Because leadership involves being able to interact effectively with various team members, writing is one of the best ways to facilitate that. And you can perform a lot of basic leadership functions by writing clearly and effectively. Businesses are spending billions of dollars each year on actually training their employees on the basics of remedial writing. You don't have to do that. If you've passed this course and Composition 1, you should be relatively well versed to step into a writing role within whatever business or company that you're hired into. A modern workplace, though, requires employees to spend hours each day sending emails, writing reports, interacting with clients, and weak writing skills can hinder those objectives. But still, I come back to this question. Do writing skills matter? Well, if you don't think that good writing skills matter in this digital age, I have some jarring news for you. Okay. According to the folks at Grammarly, one of the premier writing apps out there today, in the last 10 years, professionals who've received 1 to 4 promotions made 45% more grammatical errors than did their professional peers who were promoted up to 6 to 9 times. So, of course, writing matters. There's a lot to be said about how effective writing is as one of the premier modes of communication. And that transcends all majors, fields of endeavor, or positions that you might apply for or find yourself applying for in the future. So of course, writing matters. It's my last ditch attempt to impart to you why this class has been valuable to me. I think that a good instructor learns with his or her students. And I know I certainly have learned a little bit this semester, and I've adapted. And I think that during the next semester, I'll be even more ready to address the needs of my students. I hope that or in a similar vein of thought, you got something positive from this experience and that you're able to come away with a new body of knowledge that can help you to address some of the concerns that you might meet in a writing workplace. We've come a long way, but the best is yet to come. So that's it for my spiel. I bid you the best. I hope that, like I said, this has been a productive session, or at least a productive semester. Maybe you only learned that, oh yeah, I need to use commas with introductory prepositional phrases. Even if that's the only thing you took away from this class, that's a positive move in the right direction and a real sign of writing improvement that you can hang your hat on. You may have focused on source creation and documentation as a new or important skill that you enhanced or learned about this semester. Maybe you just enjoyed reading The Princess Bride and thinking about the permutations of a popular piece of literature like this one. You know, it doesn't have to be that much more complex in order for the experience to have been a valuable one. Okay, I've said my piece. You've been listening patiently, not just today, but all semester long. So again, I thank you for your time and your attention. And again, for the last time, I bid you good health, a hunger for knowledge, and I encourage you to think critically. All right. That's all from Mr. Fowler today. Take care.